Hello, this is David from True Blue Sandblog again, and we're going to have just a very quick filing lesson on chainsaws. And I was using, this is our 385. We were using this one about 2 weeks ago to cut some trees down, and as I was making one of my cuts, suddenly the saw was hard to pull through the wood, and it was trying to cut an arc. Instead of cutting straight the way it should, it was suddenly wanting to roll, and the bar binds up, and what happens is one side of that chain became dull. And the way you tell, you look at the top plate. We've gone through this before, but it's kind of hard to see. It doesn't hurt to repeat it. You look at that top plate, and you see the top plate doesn't come up and end. It has a bright edge. That bright edge means that edge is slightly rounded, and that's why you file every time. You file every time you fuel up, and you'll always have a sharp saw. So what we're going to do is line up the file. And I'm pulling back into that gullet. I have quite a bit of force pulling back into that gullet. And I'm watching that bright edge as I file. And every time I file, I can see it grow smaller. And I don't know if I hit something in that tree or just what, but that tooth is very dull, and as you look around this chain, others are dull too. Now, it's when you're handling the chain, wear your leather gloves. There we go. Got kind of a bright spot. Let me shine the light on that. Got kind of a bright spot right back here on this edge. I don't know if you can see it there. I can sure see it from where I'm standing. And I want that bright edge out of there. As long as that bright edge is there, I'm not cutting wood with that. I'm just rubbing wood, making sawdust. So there we go. Now, let's see what we got. No bright edge. That plate comes forward and stops. And now I have to go around the entire chain on that side, and then turn the chainsaw around and do the other side. The hardest part of the whole thing is when you flip it around, the light's backwards. So you have to make sure you take your flashlight, like in a shop like this, you take a flashlight and look at it, or have an overhead light that shines on it. Outside, I like to point them into the sun. And if you look at the next one, same thing. See, that right, what it looks like the right side is dull and the left side is not. But we'll sharpen them and go to the next one. It's the same thing. See that bright edge? Bright edge is trouble. Your saw won't cut well. What happened? One side dulled. I don't know what happened. One side got dull as I was cutting, and suddenly that instead of cutting through straight, when one side's dull, that bar wants to start cutting in an arc, and since it's straight and an arc is not, it jams up and you can't cut. So you feel that, just stop, grab another saw or file the one you have. In this case, as I was cutting, I was halfway through cutting a tree down. I just set this one down, grabbed another saw, and got the tree down. So keep them sharp. Sharpen it every time you fill up, and you'll always be cutting with a sharp saw.